country, and maybe there will be. People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator. Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protesters.
Hey, welcome everybody to a live episode today. This is something that I haven't done ever, maybe once or twice. Definitely, I think we're at episode like 28, 29, somewhere around there. Hopefully you guys have caught the last video I uploaded about why there hasn't been any content, what's been going on, the new studio surroundings, and I didn't realize there's a glare on the light from the light over here. But anyways, we're still unpacking, getting things worked out here on the new homestead. That is a work in progress. And so now I have a home office that I will be recording out of and updating videos and doing consultation calls and stuff like that. So this live stream is going out in a few different spots. I think it's on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So this should be interesting. We'll see how this does. Let me know if you watch this after the fact or listen to the podcast version of it, the audio version only. Let me know if you want to see more live stuff like this, or do you like the pre-recorded stuff that I upload? Because I'm trying to figure out a good time to do this when people can tune in, when people are available. On the East Coast, I've gotten people that I've helped with associations from here all the way out to Hawaii, and I've been in talks with some people over in Australia. And I'm still researching that. It's a little bit different than what we got going on here. But today's topic is how to start your own private membership association. I figure this is a good place to start. As you know, I also do work with the ladies over at the PMA Manifesto, so make sure you check them out. And I think we're going to start. We've talked about doing videos, but we do a free monthly call. So if you go over to the PMA Manifesto, you can jump on to the newsletter over there, and then you can partake in that once a month hour call that we do, and we answer questions and stuff like that. And there's usually a good group of individuals on there. So things are a little still foggy in this eye. I haven't had my cataract surgery yet after detaching my retina. So if you see me looking, I've got multiple screens going here, trying to work all this stuff out myself. So let's jump into today's topic. And then I want to talk a little bit about more about preparedness, I guess is the best way to put it, or how to incorporate it in your association. So I did title this private membership associations. Their technical term is an unincorporated association. And for those of you who are new or just might be the first video you're watching, I'll just cover real quick what an unincorporated association is. And that is just basically something that's been around for a very, very long time. It is, think of like your Elks Lodge, your Moose Lodge, your VFWs. Those are more of a association that's public, even though there's requirements to get in. But an unincorporated association is basically a group of people getting together for a common goal, whether that's sustainable living, whether that's being able to grow a community like we have here in Connecticut that we're doing, where you have others that can help you, or whatever other reason it is that you want to come together. And it's basically protected by the First and 14th Amendment. And then also at your state level, depending on the state you're in, this isn't the same across the board. So like here in Connecticut, where I'm at, unincorporated associations are looked at as a legal entity, so they can sue and be sued. But if I go down to New York, they're not. So the trustees could be the ones liable for any lawsuits or anything like that. So basically, just the 10,000 foot view is that if you have an association, there has to be that common bond for coming together. So how does one start their own membership? And I'm just drinking my afternoon coffee here too, just because it's been a long day. So starting association's pretty simple. You just need a couple of people that are coming together for that common goal. So let's just say it's a community base. So you want to help each other out, whether it's around their houses, like we do barn raisings. So somebody can go onto our private website and fill out a request if they're a member saying, hey, listen, I need X, Y, and Z done around my property. Who can come and help me? I'll provide food and some tools, but this is the list I need to get done. Maybe it's a room needs to get painted, a new toilet bowl needs to be put in, or maybe your gutters need to be cleaned. And, this is great because we have some members that don't want to get up on ladders. We have some that just can't. We have some that don't mind doing that work and get in some really sketchy situations when clearing out gutters. So the point is you want to have this group that comes together. And The reason I think why a lot of people have gotten into the associations and why we did here initially was because of everything that happened in the last couple of years. Certain words I don't want to use, I don't want to get banned. So you guys know what I'm talking about. And it was a way for us to still come together, still socialize, even if there were other things in place saying that we couldn't. So that's what makes it nice. It's private. It's just for you and your members. So there's a few things you want to think about when starting up your association. First, you want to make sure that you're not offering any public accommodations, meaning that anybody can just walk in and join your club, right? Usually I would say do it by referral basis if you were going to bring in new members, or like what we started doing is we would do like a potluck. We'd have any prospective members come out to that potluck, introduce them to the other members. They get to meet everybody, and then we get to vote them in. So there has to be some, backing behind how they are going to becoming a member. So most of the time they're vetted through other members. I would suggest necessarily just, I mean, I guess you could have an online. We kind of do, but it's basic. Who you are, how you refer to us, how'd you find out about us, that type of thing. And then you want somebody that's either part of your advisory board, if you have one, or your trustees or your board of directors, whatever you want to call yourselves, who are running everything. They're the ones that are going to have to vote and say whether this person's a good fit or not. So you are going to have some reason for them, if they want to join. Exclusivity is the word I was looking for. So you want to have exclusivity to your membership. You don't want to offer private, public accommodations, and you want to have what is considered an intimate association, which is a small group. Unfortunately, there's no definition of how many people make a intimate association versus an expressive association. Not that I've been able to find yet. Anyways, it's something I'm still on the look for. But having that set up, uh, then you guys can start meeting and doing your things. Now, you could write your own bylaws and your articles of organization, your membership agreement. These are kind of the documents you want to have in place that kind of, says how everything's going to run. Because even though it might start off with friends, and even disputes can arise through friends, you want to have a way of handling all that stuff. So either, you can consult with me on getting that done. The PMA manifesto has hybrid DIY templates. I also have those over at the East Coast PMA. So let's see, we got some comments coming in here, and yeah, spam, never mind, just offering promotional stuff. Anyways, so that being said, yeah, if you go over to the eastcoastpma.com, I'll just throw it up there on the bottom for you. I figured that out so far. First time using this platform to multi-stream, so it's very interesting. But basically, you can go over there, and there's other content related to associations and common law and the stuff that kind of goes around that. And then I'm also going to be sprinkling in some preparedness stuff. That's just stuff that I do personally that I think everybody should do, especially if they're building a community or an association. They're getting people together. So, kind of lost my train of thought there. So that being said, you can come to me. You can go to anybody else. There are other people that write documents. You can pick any of the ladies over at the PMA Manifesto too. They're very good at what they do. There is a lot of bad information out there, so please make sure you consult with somebody. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So, and the reason why, I say this is because if you're starting up this association, there's going to be most likely some funds coming in. You have to figure out banking and checking and all that type of stuff. There's going to be a natural commerce amongst members. So one member might have chicken eggs, the other one might have goat's milk, and they're going to do business with each other and stuff like that. And it could be between them and the fence post, or, maybe you have a platform within your association where members know that they can go to this person for bread, this person for milk, cheese, whatever. And you're going to want to have some way of how everything works. And I would hate to see anybody start something like this and just kind of run it by the seat of their pants. So that's why it's important, just like any other organization, to have your bylaws and your articles of organization and a membership agreement. That way there, if you ever are challenged, you can show that you are operating properly. So once you have all that stuff set up, then as you are bringing in members, you're vetting members, your community is going to grow, whatever the reason is that it's your reason for association. And then, within that, things are going to change. Like when we started ours here in Connecticut, it changed from what we initially set up. It grew, it shrunk, it grew again. It's shrunk again, and it's going to change, and people are going to come and go. And what I tell everybody is, yeah, there's a fee to join, an annual fee, and that kind of gets you a seat at the table. And you don't have to go to everything that we host. Like maybe you don't want to go to a canning class, but you want to come over to the chainsaw sharpening, log dropping, or tree dropping class. So it's gonna, you're gonna have a fluctuation with your members. So don't get frustrated, and don't feel like this shouldn't be it shouldn't be very what's the word I'm looking for, stressful for you. It should be more of a fun thing that you're doing. And if it becomes stressful, well, then you want to bring in other people to help you manage it. And you should have at least 3 people managing your association, and getting things set up and running. You should have a president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, everything like that. So if you are ever challenged with your association, you can show that you're operating properly and you have all the documentation to back all that stuff up. And again, it depends on what state you're in and stuff like that, and what your reason for association is, or if you're setting up a ministry or a free church, or what have you. So um, once you have that stuff set up and in place, you can just start bringing people in, and then you figure out, all the different classes you're going to have or hold, or people you're going to bring in to talk to your group or what have you, or whatever it is, your reason for association. So one thing for me personally with our association and stuff that I do is I try to make, I want everything to be better. Like, okay, the world as we know it right now is, and I'm trying to use words where I don't get banned right away or get thrown back into YouTube jail or anything like that. So we all know the current situation around the world and how everything's going. And we all know pretty it's not going in the greatest direction, I guess the best way to put it. And your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. And I'm a big component for keeping your money within your community. So if I know I can work with somebody in my community and keep money there, I'd rather do that than go send it out to any big box store, or, work with the local farmer and get produce from them, maybe to some of our members and stuff like that. Not necessarily running a CSA or anything, but just having that network. And that's what's great about associations. You start getting people in from all different walks of life that are coming together for that common goal or that reason for association. So you then start to build your network in your community. So if things still get bad, and I don't want to be doom and gloom on this channel, at least try not to be, but I really think in 2024 we're going to see stuff like we've never seen before. The writing's kind of on the wall. If you're listening to any of the alternative news outlets that are out there, and all the other different podcasts. And again, I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but thank you for spending your time with me today. And I probably should put this in the beginning. This doesn't constitute as legal or tax advice. It's just kind of one person's thought. So anyways, I got to remember to get that disclaimer out in the beginning. So that being said, looking at the current environment and where things are going, I think there's going to be more of a need for creating these associations and bringing groups of people together. And then within your area, like Connecticut's not a big state. I can drive across the whole state in 2 hours, right? But if you're in somewhere like Texas, um, Wyoming, Alaska, some of these bigger states, California, the People's Republic or whatever they call it over there, um, the uh, the idea is to get these associations set up to where, okay, we have one group of people here that meet for homesteading. And then we have another group of people that their primary focus is gardening. And then we have another one that might be, um, you know, uh, getting together because they want to learn different life skills or whatever that is. And maybe each month, another member brings something up like, hey, we're going to do how to change our brakes in our car and bleed lines and do that stuff. So, and these are just examples, right? So these groups are getting set up, and then all these groups start to say, hey, I know that Liberty House or East Coast PMA or whatever it is this one has a ministry that does education, and it's, Judeo-Christian based. So I want to start bringing my kids there. And then they say, well, these people over here, they've got some really talented woodworkers or whatever it is. And now you start getting that cross pollination. And then you have associations relying on other associations, and you can see where this goes, right? And the best part of it is that it's all private, and there's plenty of case law that backs that up, where, if you are challenged, you don't have to share your membership list. You don't have to tell them how many members you have. We have standing court cases for that. We have that right of association under the First and 14th Amendment. So if something should come down, some policy, right? Some procedure or policy, excuse me, my voice is killing me today, that you got your little policy over there, but you can't come into my area and my intimate association and tell me I can't meet with my people, right? You might want to try, go for it, but and that's where, the second part of this is, if you are starting your own private membership association, you're creating your unincorporated association. Um, excuse me, my voice is dying today. You want to make sure that not only do you know the proper way of running it and getting it set up and structured for your situation, but you also want to make sure that you know how to defend yourself, or where to go should you need that information to defend yourself. So I think that's also very important. I'll probably do another video on that, or a live, because I'm going to try to do these more often, these live videos, which I think are great. And again, let me know what you guys think about this, whether it's in the comments now or after or what have you. And I will figure out a time where I'm going to do these regularly, so everybody knows that, hey, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there's going to be a live video. And if you want to jump on, you can. But majority of the people listen to the podcast afterwards, either on East Coast PMA or through one of the other podcast platforms. So that being said, as your association grows, you want to make sure you know how to defend it and stuff like that. And then you're going to have all this cross pollination with other groups, hopefully in the area, that start associations. And then keeping that money, like I said, within the association. Now, one thing I try to, I guess I don't do a real good job of, and that I need to do it more of, is helping people understand that having an association is a good starting point, but being able to grow and educate your members on certain things is even better, depending on what you're getting together for. And majority of the people I help are either one lane is educational type stuff, or the other one is, hey, I want to grow a group of people, and I just need to make sure that we're doing everything properly. So if we are challenged or we have money coming in, because maybe it's a group of people that want to come together to buy a large piece of land to put up a campsite on, and some garden beds and stuff like that. You can't do any of that if you have an extreme amount of debt leaning over your head, or looming over your head rather. And especially in this day and age with of course I don't have it in front of me. Your cell phone, excuse me, is pretty much the most, it's as powerful as, if not more powerful than some of the very first computers. It's definitely more powerful than some of the first computers that came out, right? So you have all this technology in your hand. There's no reason why anybody today should not have some form of side hustle going on. Now, this could be, to what's the word I want to look for here? This could be to supplement your current income, or maybe you just want to leave the job you're in because it sucks and you don't want to go to it every day. I highly think that it's really important, for somebody to say, listen, I may not like my job, or I'm getting into this association and I want to learn a new skill set. Maybe it's knife making. You want to start making knives and selling knives. Well, you can start making them small, on a small scale, and opening that business up to your members, right? And this is where I talk about keeping that money within your community, right? So now I'm making knives. Now maybe I make some knives, or I hold a class on how to make knives, and I'm charging people to come in, and it's only going to be members of that association that are going to come, right? Because it's going to be private and that sort of thing. So I think that anybody that, and I think within most of these groups, preparedness is talked about to some extent, whether it's canning and food preparation, or it's, hey, what do you have in your bug out bag, or, what do you keep in your car in case of emergencies, that sort of thing. And I think a lot of that starts with eliminating the debt that we have. I mean, right now we're coming into the Christmas season. I said Christmas, that's probably going to get me banned somewhere, but we're coming into the Christmas season, and you still have people that are carrying debt from last year's holiday season, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah, right? Which to me, I think is absolutely crazy. And the dollar obviously doesn't go as far as it did. It's going less and less further. So there's ways and there's opportunities for us to all make money and, pay off those credit cards, pay off that car payment, start putting money away in case of emergency, maybe holding, 5 to 10% of your net worth in gold and silver that you actually holds yourself personally, not in some other institution somewhere else. So like I like Liberty Dollar Financial Association for that. You can find their link on East Coast PMA. It's a great way to not only do transactions with people by trading and paying for things in silver, but it's also a good place to get really nice coins and to be able to use it digitally, which is kind of cool. And maybe I'll have Wayne on again. It's been a while since I've had him on and we've talked. But yeah, so there's ways to do these side hustles, and there's some links if you go over to East Coast PMA where you're going to find two of the side hustles that I do, and one deals with essential services, which is great because everybody has a light bill, everybody has a cell phone bill. Some people want security systems on their homes. Some people need health insurance. These are different things that I'm able to offer through my online website. The other thing is basically running a digital bank, and that's with Transact Card. And so I'll put all the links in the description and stuff like that. You guys can go check it out. But I don't care what it is that you do, whether it's getting chickens and selling eggs, or well, you're not going to make a ton of money doing that. But my point is have something to where you can now either learn a new skill set, bring something to your community, and then if your community wants to buy like a piece of land, you're going to have that extra income coming in where you've already paid off your debt. And I like Dave Ramsey's stuff with the debt snowball. That's a real good way of doing it. And then you can start using that money to help your community grow. And if all your members are doing this, it's a great way to make things flourish. So that's my point. I guess my one thing about preparedness today is get rid of that debt, and then stop buying the shiny objects and all the patriot garbage that these people are hawking online for sustainable foods and stuff like that. They have their place, but I think the easiest thing to do is be financially secure, because I'm going to steal this from a guy that I listen to. His whole thing is, what happens if you lose your job today, or both parents lose their job and they're in a house and you still have a mortgage? How much money do you have set aside to be able to survive for 30, 60, 90 days? Excuse me. Gosh, I don't know. This cold thing of mine just won't go away. But anyways, I wanted to do the live video today anyways, so it just had to happen. But yeah, that's just one of those things where I think starting with preparedness, the best way to start is, sitting down and looking at your financial outlook, your financial goals, and getting rid of some of your wants and just keeping your needs and getting things, all those bills paid off, especially the recurring bills like your car payment, mortgage, stuff like that. And getting it to where, okay, we have this extra amount of income coming in. And especially nowadays, if you can't make the overtime, or like sometimes the overtime dries up and you can't make that extra money, having that side hustle in place and using it to supplement your income, and maybe all that money from the side hustle that comes in, you use that to get all your preparedness stuff, and you get that to maybe buy a water filtration system and that sort of thing. So that's my point on that. We're about 23 minutes in. My voice is killing me, and yeah, I gotta do something about this voice thing, because it's going to be tough to do these live streams if this keeps happening. But man, crazy day. And it didn't start until I started doing the live, like my voice started bothering me. So that being said, that's kind of how, when I talk to people about starting your own private membership association, kind of like the steps, like, okay, you got to first, one, figure out what your reason of association is. Two, figure out who's going to run this association, and then who's going to fill what positions, and then get your documents in order, making sure you have your bylaws, your articles of organization, and your membership agreement. You can write them on a bar napkin if you want, for all I care. Just make sure you have something in place. And then you start bringing your members and making sure you have a way to vet your members that you're bringing in. You're not just letting everybody in, and that you have your reason for exclusivity. You don't offer public accommodations. You have what is considered an intimate association. And then you just help build your network within your association and have it flourish to where you can start branching out to hopefully other associations in your area. I mean, I'm in a small state and I know at least of 3 or 4 groups. Some are set up as associations, some are not. Eventually, hopefully they get there. But it's just a way for people to connect with other like-minded individuals. I don't know, I hate using that word, but you get my gist, right? Like, so everybody's coming together for permaculture or um, I don't know, how to build birdhouses, whatever your reason for association is, right? And that group starts to grow and grow. And again, like I said, ours has grown, it shrunk, it grew, it shrunk again, it grew. And we do have our core group of 20 people that are consistently at different functions. And just don't get frustrated. It's a journey. It's not something that, it's easy, but if it was really easy to run and manage an association, everybody would be doing it. But that's my point, or those are my points on, how to start your own private membership association. Hopefully it helped, probably gave you more questions than answers. But again, I don't know why my voice is killing me right now. This was a good live. I like doing this. I like not having to edit as much, which is nice. And the office space is getting set up a little bit. It's looking a little bit better. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next live video.
All over the country, and maybe there will be. People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator. Enemies